Attention hunters. And here is the next part of my journey. I have just beaten T7 Traveler and unlocked T8. However, I don't have enough damage to farm T8 just yet. You know what this means. Time for some grinding. As you can see, I decided to go all in on the season mechanic. This is because at this point in the season, it is very hard to sell items at the auction house. With this farming strategy, I can farm a lot of raw FEs and rely less on trading. Here is the void chart. I use God of War for the movement speed and the increased drop quantity, and Goddess of Hunting for boss drops as well as the increased drop quantity. The rest of the points I use for Star Shards duplication, increased boss drop quantity and compasses. If you have a strong build, you can allocate those nodes. The bosses will have a chance to be extra juiced for better loot. When using this strategy, you should always activate the Goddess of Hunting, then kill the boss and finally redeem the ballet rewards. This way, you should have the Goddess of Hunting drop quantity buff still active. This will substantially increase the quantity of loot you get from the ballet rewards. Although a big part of the loot comes from the ballet rewards, you can still get some nice surprises from both Goddess of Hunting and God of War.
Enjoy this moment. The champion deserves the honor.
Okay, time to buy my first upgrades. Let's see how many FEs I'm working with. That should be enough to get some nice upgrades. First on the list is a new helmet. Fool's Crown is best in slot for this build as it adds physical damage to our main hand weapon. I initially wanted to buy a 3 legendary aptitude version, but somehow there were a couple with 4 legendary aptitude for sale at the same price. That's unfortunate for them, but lucky for me. In an effort to mimic the early season economy, I won't buy any Ultimate Embers in this episode. Although they are very cheap at this point in the season, they are very expensive early on, costing more than 80 FEs each in the first few days. This means that I won't be upgrading affixes to T0 and focus on budget crafts instead. Although budget is relative, as the items' prices are very high this late in the season, this Fool's Crown has great affixes. I'll upgrade Aura Effect to T1 and then craft some strength and increase max life. This is good enough for now. Now you might be wondering why I need strength. For this build, I want to go the strength stacking route. Strength acts as an additional damage multiplier to skills with the strength tag, such as Rehan's burst. Each point of strength gives 0.5% additional burst damage, making strength stacking a very effective way of scaling damage. In addition, I also want as much cooldown reduction as possible. This will reduce burst cooldown and in turn increase my damage. Okay, enough talking. Let's go back to crafting. New belt. I dropped this base while farming T7, so I'll use it. Not a great result, but it is enough for now. Next up are the rings. I want T0 strength bases with some resistances as an implicit. I want to get some max life, resistances, and either crit rating or crit damage. First ring is done and has some decent stats, although crit damage instead of crit rating may have been better. Same process for the second ring. Slightly worse than the first, but still good enough. And finally, a new necklace. I want a base with T0 physical skill level, as burst gains 12% additional damage per skill level. Although far from perfect, I like how it turned out. And since I have some FEs left, I'll buy some cooldown recovery speed candles. Now let's pay a visit to the dummy to see how much I improved. Of course, this is without any damaged pack spirits. Not bad. With this, I should be able to farm 7-2 comfortably. As you can see, I can now farm 7-2 without much of a problem. This will allow me to gather FEs much faster than before. I can even start dropping stacks of 50 FEs now. It is always a nice feeling to see one on the ground. Don't forget to end your God of War before exiting the map. You might have a nice surprise.
Emerging.
Enjoy this moment.
Sets.
Man, I'll never get tired of seeing those red beams. Now that I gathered some currency, it is time to get a new weapon. But first, I'll turn in my fluorescent memories. Nice, I'll put those ultimate embers to good use. For the weapon, I want a high base damage two-handed hammer with T0 increased gear physical damage. If you're going for an endgame weapon instead of a budget one like me, I suggest starting with a T0 focused strike base. For this craft, I want to get at least increased gear physical damage, flat gear physical damage, strength and critical strike damage. Crafting on two-handed weapons is very expensive. I need to get some more flame sand. Let's upgrade crit damage to T0 using the ultimate embers I got. Nice, it worked out perfectly. Now I just need to add flat gear physical damage and double damage. This is a very nice weapon, especially for this budget. Since I have some FEs left, I got a new hero relic and 3 hero memories, for a total of around 1,000 FEs. I also equipped some new God of War divinity slates I dropped. They have either physical skill level or increased crit damage per fervor rating. Let's test my new damage at the dummy. That's pretty good. This will easily allow me to farm T8. Of course, this is with full drop pack spirits. At this point, the game really opens. This build can be used to farm a wide variety of different strategies. I will keep doing the same one I presented earlier in the video, as I really like the loot explosions. If you're playing this build in a new season, I suggest you farm the season mechanic, as it will probably be the most profitable thing to do. Now I got a few star shards, so let's kill some plane watchers as a warm-up before paying a visit to T8 Traveler. With damaged pack spirits, I have around 30 billion DPS, which should be enough to take down T8 Traveler. However, my survivability is extremely bad, so I'll have to dodge everything. Let's hope I don't mess up. And Traveler is down. Thankfully, I had the best defensive layer of all, the 6 portals. Here's a quick look at my gear at this point. It is lacking on the defensive side, but that can be fixed later. Overall, I'm happy with this build. The gameplay is comfortable, it is an incredibly efficient map farmer, and the upgrades are pretty straightforward. I would have loved to push this build further. Unfortunately, with work in the way, I won't have time to release another video before the new season starts. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this build, and I will do my best to give you an answer. I hope you enjoyed this journey, however short it was. As always, take care, and see you in the next video.